All right, everyone, welcome back to Bullish Bytes.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into render token.
RNDR.
RNDR, exactly.
It's a fascinating one.
Yeah, and it's one that's really making some noise in the digital creation space.
Absolutely.
And you know we love those.
Those game changers, yeah.
So let's
unpack it.
unpack it, right?
Yeah.
So we've got some great sources lined up for this deep dive, and our mission today is to publicly break down how RNDR and the render network are revolutionizing the world of rendering.
You know, the really cool thing about this one is it tackles a huge pain point for creators, right? Rendering, which is like the process of turning those 3D models and animations into the final, like, beautiful visuals.
Yeah, the stuff we see in movies and games.
Exactly, yeah, architecture, everything.
Yeah.
But traditionally, rendering has always needed so much power, like computationally.
Oh, yeah.
It was expensive, it was out of reach for a lot of people.
Totally, and that's where the render network comes in, right?
Right, and it's so cool.
From what I'm seeing in these sources, it's like it's like this decentralized platform that basically creates this global rendering farm.
It does.
Connecting creators who need the power with people who are willing to share their GPUs.
Yeah, those with the GPUs, they become the nodes in this network, essentially.
Right, so it's almost like Airbnb, but for processing power.
Exactly, you got it.
And RNDR is that token that's like the fuel for this whole thing?
Exactly, it's the currency of the render network.
Okay, so creators use RNDR to pay for those rendering services. And then the people sharing their GPU power, the node operators, they earn RNDR.
As a reward.
As a reward,
Yeah,
right?
makes sense.
So it's like a win-win, right?
Absolutely. Creators get affordable rendering. The more people who join the network, the more powerful it gets. It's really neat.
Yeah, and anyone can potentially just turn their computer into like a passive income stream.
Yeah, and it gets even more interesting because RNDR has multiple uses within this render network. It's not just about paying for the service itself.
Oh, really? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so RNDR is also used for things like node operator rewards, like we just talked about, but also transaction fees, right? To keep everything running smoothly.
Okay. Yeah.
And there's even a reputation system built in.
Oh, interesting, to kind of ensure quality, right?
Exactly. It's all about accountability within this ecosystem.
Okay, I'm really curious about this reputation system because it's not something you typically see in a lot of crypto projects.
Right.
So how does it actually work?
So basically, both the creators and the node operators, they have these scores.
Okay.
And these scores are based on all sorts of factors, you know, like the quality of the work delivered, if they're meeting deadlines, just overall reliability.
So it's not just about like having the most powerful GPU, you also have to have a good track record.
Absolutely. It's all about building that trust, that reputation.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So creators with really good scores, they get access to like the better nodes, maybe even better pricing. And on the other side, the node operators with like those stellar reputations, they're going to be chosen for those higher paying jobs, right?
Really like self-regulating, right?
It rewards excellence.
Keeps everything balanced.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's almost like blockchain tech creating this more transparent and trustworthy environment.
Oh, got it.
Now, I'm sure some of our viewers are probably already thinking, okay, I want to get my hands on some of this RNDR.
Right.
So let's talk about how to actually acquire and store it safely.
Right. So before we jump into that, just a quick reminder to everyone watching, hit that subscribe button.
Yes, please do.
Give this video a like if you're finding this helpful, and don't forget to check out those links in the description for more resources on RNDR and the render network.
Awesome. All right, now back to acquiring and storing those tokens.
Okay, so let's start with storage.
Okay.
RNDR is an ERC20 token, like a lot of cryptocurrencies, which basically means it works with a whole range of different wallets out there.
We've talked about MetaMask on the show before. It's a popular choice for ERC20 tokens.
Absolutely.
Would you say that's a good place for someone who's like new to RNDR to start?
For sure. MetaMask is free. It's easy to use. It's a browser extension. Great entry point.
Yeah.
If you already have MetaMask, just add RNDR as a custom token. You can find the contract address in the links below.
Perfect.
And if you're totally new to MetaMask, don't worry. We have a step-by-step guide in the description, too.
Always making it easy for our viewers. That's what we do.
All right. So once you've got that MetaMask wallet set up, how do you actually get those RNDR tokens?
Yeah. How do we get them?
Well, that's where the cryptocurrency exchanges come in.
Okay.
You can buy RNDR on several reputable platforms like KuCoin, Binance, Kraken. The process might be a little different on each exchange, but the general steps are pretty much the same.
Okay.
You'll need to create an account, go through verification.
Right, standard procedure.
Right.
And then fund your account. You can use credit cards, bank transfers, or even other cryptocurrencies.
Yeah. Once your account's funded, you just buy RNDR on the exchange's spot market.
All right, so after you've bought it, you have a choice.
Yeah.
You can either keep your RNDR on the exchange or transfer it to your MetaMask wallet.
Right.
What are the things someone should consider when making that decision?
It's a balance, like convenience versus control. Leaving your tokens on the exchange can be super convenient for trading.
Makes sense.
But it also means you're trusting the exchange with the security of your RNDR.
Right.
If you transfer them to a non-custodial wallet like MetaMask, you have complete control, but then you're responsible for the security.
So it's like more control equals more responsibility.
Exactly.
So it really depends on what your needs are and how much risk you're comfortable with.
Yep. If security and control are your top priority, a non-custodial wallet like MetaMask is definitely the way to go.
Okay, so we've covered the what, the why, and even the how of getting your hands on RNDR. But what I'm really curious about is the bigger picture, like the impact of this technology. Because the render network is about more than just like faster or cheaper rendering.
No,
right.
You're right. If we zoom out a bit, Render Token is really about a fundamental shift in how we think about computing power. It's about sharing resources more efficiently so everyone benefits.
It's like the sharing economy, but for processing power.
Exactly.
Instead of all those GPUs just sitting idle when they're not in use, the render network taps into that.
Yeah, it creates this powerhouse that can rival even the biggest studios.
It's pretty amazing.
It is, and the implications go way beyond just 3D rendering.
Oh, yeah, like that.
Think about applying this to things like scientific research, or artificial intelligence, or even complex financial modeling. The possibilities are huge.
Yeah, we could be on the edge of this whole new era of collaborative computing.
Absolutely.
Where anyone can contribute.
It's incredibly exciting.
It is.
And Render Token is really leading the way in this movement.
Awesome. Well, let's shift gears a little bit now and dive into some of the real-world applications of the render network.
Sounds good. I think one of the most exciting things about Render Network is how it levels the playing field.
Right, making high-quality rendering accessible to everyone.
Yeah, in the past, creating those stunning visuals was like reserved for those big studios with tons of money. But the Render Network changes all that.
It does.
Now, independent artists, small studios, even individuals, they have the power to bring their visions to life without spending a fortune.
Yeah, it's like taking those massive rendering farms that Hollywood uses and making them available to everyone, right?
Exactly, and it's not just about saving money either.
No, it's about opening up creative possibilities.
Right, like things that just weren't possible before.
Totally.
And we're seeing it happen, This explosion of high-quality content across different industries like indie films, video games, VR experiences.
Yeah, architectural visualizations, all powered by the render network.
It's incredible, and I think we're just scratching the surface.
We've talked about the creators, but what about the node operators, the people who actually make this whole network work?
Yeah, they're like the unsung heroes, right?
They are.
Sharing their GPU power so others can tap into this huge resource.
I'm curious what motivates them. Is it just about the money?
Well, I mean, there's definitely a financial incentive, right?
Sure.
They earn RNDR tokens for every rendering job they complete, so it's a way to generate some passive income.
It's like turn your gaming PC into a money-making machine while you sleep.
Exactly.
Pretty cool, but it's got to be more to it than that.
Yeah, a lot of node operators are driven by a sense of community, This belief in the power of decentralization, they want to be a part of this revolution.
I can see that. It's about making this tech accessible.
Exactly. They're contributing to something bigger than themselves.
So we've talked about those who are tech savvy, who are comfortable setting up nodes and wallets. But what about the creators who might not be as familiar with all that crypto stuff?
Right. Well, that's where the Render Network really shines.
Yep.
They have this system called RNDR credits.
RNDR credits?
Yep. And it lets creators buy rendering power using like regular payment methods like PayPal or Stripe.
So even if you don't want to dive into the whole crypto world, you can still benefit from this network.
Absolutely. That's the key, right? Making it inclusive.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what your background is. You can still access this powerful technology.
It's like they've struck this balance between like advanced technology and user friendliness.
Right, which can be rare in the blockchain space.
You usually need a computer science degree just to get started. But the render network is breaking down those barriers.
It is, and that's what's so exciting about it. It's
Yeah.
not just about disrupting the rendering industry, it's about empowering everyone.
Creating this future where digital content creation is more inclusive.
Exactly. And it's something worth paying attention to.
But beyond just the impact on creators, this technology has the potential to, like, revolutionize how we think about computing power in general. Often, we start with the specific application, like rendering, but then the underlying tech just has these ripple effects that can transform entire industries.
It does.
What other areas do you think this decentralized approach to computing could really make a difference in?
Oh, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
Think about applying this to scientific research.
Uh-huh.
Researchers could use a global network of GPUs to speed up those complex simulations and data analysis, or even artificial intelligence.
Oh, yeah.
Training those powerful AI models requires massive amounts of computing power.
It could revolutionize drug discovery, climate modeling, all sorts of things.
Exactly, and it wouldn't just be limited to those big research institutions either.
Right. Anyone could contribute.
Individuals, citizen scientists, all contributing to something groundbreaking.
It's like unlocking this collective intelligence.
It is.
This whole distributed network model could change how we solve problems on a global scale.
It's pretty amazing.
It is. And Render Token is a perfect example of how this tech is already being used.
Yeah.
It's like paving the way for this more collaborative and efficient future of computing.
Absolutely.
Before we move on, just a reminder to everyone watching, hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, don't forget.
And give this video if you're enjoying this deep dive, your support really helps us out.
It does.
And don't forget to check out the links in the description for more info on Render Token and all the resources we talked about today.
Awesome.
Now, I'm curious about something. What are some of the potential risks associated with this kind of decentralized computing?
Oh, that's a great question.
It sounds amazing in theory, but are there any downsides we should be aware of?
Well, I mean, no technology is perfect, right? There are always challenges.
Right.
And with decentralized computing, security is definitely a big one.
Yeah, because you're basically trusting a bunch of random computers to handle sensitive data, right?
Whether it's a creator's 3D models or like a scientist's research.
Exactly.
So how does Render Network address that? Well, they've got a bunch of different security measures in place.
Okay, like what?
First off, all the data that gets transmitted within the network is encrypted.
Okay.
So it's protected from like prying eyes.
Right.
Plus, they use a system of distributed verification.
Distributed verification.
Yeah. So multiple nodes check each rendering job, making it super hard for any one node to mess with the data.
It's like this built-in checks and balances system.
Exactly.
And what about that reputation system we talked about earlier? Does that play a role in security too?
Absolutely. Those node operators with a proven track record, the ones who are reliable and trustworthy, they're going to be the ones chosen for those more sensitive tasks.
Okay, so it's like an extra layer of protection.
Exactly.
So it seems like they've really thought about security from multiple angles.
Yep, they've got it covered.
But besides security, are there any other potential downsides to this distributed computing model?
Well, one challenge can be like ensuring consistent performance.
Oh, right, because you're relying on all these different computers with different hardware and internet speeds.
Exactly. So there can be some variation in those rendering times.
I see.
But to handle that, the render network uses some pretty clever algorithms.
Okay.
They monitor node performance and basically allocate those rendering tasks to the most capable nodes.
So it's always optimizing itself.
It is. It's constantly learning and adapting.
That's cool.
Yeah. And as the network grows and more powerful GPUs come online, we can expect to see even faster and more reliable performance.
That makes sense.
And what's really fascinating is that this is just the beginning.
Right. Render Network is just one example of how this whole decentralized computing model can be used.
Yeah, there are other projects out there exploring similar ideas, each with their own unique twist.
It feels like we're at this tipping point, moving away from those centralized data centers and towards this more distributed collaborative model.
It is. It's a really exciting time.
It's a shift in how we think about computing.
Exactly. Instead of relying on those big tech companies, we can share resources directly.
Anyone can contribute.
And everyone benefits.
We're talking about unlocking this huge potential, right?
We are. It's pretty mind-blowing.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Render Token, what's the one thing you want our viewers to take away from all of this?
I'd say remember this. Render token is more than just a new way to render graphics.
Okay.
It's a vision of the future.
Of computing.
Yeah, a future where we share resources, we empower creators, and we make those groundbreaking advancements accessible to everyone.
It's a movement worth watching.
Absolutely.
And maybe even joining.
For sure.
Technology, when it's done right, can really change the world for the better.
It can.
It allows us to create, to collaborate, to solve problems in ways we never thought possible.
That's what we love exploring here on Bullish Bytes.
All right, before we go, a huge thank you to everyone who's been watching.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Your support means a lot, and as always, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like if you found it helpful.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
And be sure to check out the links in the description for more info on Render Token and all the resources we talked about today.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive into the world of blockchain and all those exciting emerging technologies.
Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and as always, thanks for watching.